I think it's one PF and one PF.
One on bar. Yeah.
Hey everybody, Norm over here, and we're at the All Guitar Network. And if you're a guitar lover, like we all are, this is where you want to be. And I've got an inspiration for so many people, the great legendary Larry Carlton. He's known as Mr. 335 for good reason, and that's a beautiful example over there. I was trying to find you a clean one, but I had to get you this messed up one over here. So tell us why you picked a 335 of all the models.
Yeah, because of my versatility as a player. You know, I was brought up during the 50s and the 60s, and I loved jazz, but I loved pop music and country music. So as a teenager, I had an ES-175 for my jazz guitar. I had a Tele or a Les Paul for my pop guitar. And when in late 1969, I started getting calls for sessions in Los Angeles. And I wanted a guitar where I could cover more bags with just one guitar. And I chose the 335 for me because of my versatility. This guitar, for me, had the versatility for many, many sessions. I could do a jazz date, turn the pots down and play. Could do a rock date on it, or just a pop date clean. So again, I emphasize the for me because for somebody else, they might have been able to accomplish what their dream was. But the 335 in my hands has become my go-to.
We were talking about Birdlands before, and there's certain guys that can really get a sound with the Birdland and all that. But the one thing about these guitars that's really cool is it has a block of wood that goes down the middle of it, so it eliminates a lot of feedback. Back in the day, bands were playing so low, you just had to take their word for it that they were good.
That's right.
But now, they play louder, so you can tell they better be good. So. Yeah. That was a line from my buddy Chris Guest from Spinal Tap. He always said, those jazz bands, they play so low, you just have to take their word for it.
That's cute.
So, but this guitar, you can play high volume rock, blues. I mean, some of the greatest blues players in the world used this type of a guitar. Yeah. And you get a lot of use out of this, So you got the humbucking pickups, the two-pneumatic bridge, the stop tailpiece on the earlier ones like that, which was really great.
Sure.
And tell us about some of the stuff that you've been doing and some of the stuff that you have done in the past. I mean, I know you played with Steely Dan back in the day, and now again.
Yeah, well, the session scene in the 70s, I was called by Steely Dan to do one track on Katie Live, rhythm guitar part, and that's when we met. And then the next album was The Royal Scam.
Right.
And so I played the majority of the leads. I did the charts for them for that album.
Fantastic.
Great record. Proud to be part of it. The Night Fly with Donald Fagen I did, and Asia. Played a lot of stuff on Asia. And yeah, it was, so that was in the mid-70s. And about 6 years ago they called me and said, would you like to guest in some live shows? And I really hadn't seen the guys in 30-some years. So it was a reunion, and now I'm subbing for their guitar player, John Harrington, great player.
Yeah, I've heard him. He's a killer.
He's killer. Well, 3 gigs he can't do, so I'm doing them with the guys. It's great to be back. Who would have thought, almost 40 years ago now, that we would still be playing some of those songs. And that people
those
would
tunes
want to
hold
hear
up
them.
pretty damn well, man. They were classic as it gets. So.
Yeah, it's an honor.
And some of the other stuff that you played on, let's just go through a little bit of your history and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. Most people know I played on Joni Mitchell's Court and Spark album, Hajira, You'll See No Summer Lawns for Joni.
Mm-hmm. Robin Ford played on some of that stuff too, didn't he? Or was he doing the live thing?
He did the live thing, and I think he did play on a cut, but he was still young and new coming in, but Joni fell in love with his playing, as we all did, of course. The Crusaders, did 13 albums with them in the 70s. And I had really discontinued doing sessions by mid-80s as doing my solo thing. And one day I got a call from Quincy Jones' office. And they said, we're doing the Michael Jackson album. When we have one cut, Larry, it's got to be you. Oh, man, thanks. So I went in and played on that song, She's Out of My Life.
Beautiful tune.
Yeah, for Quincy and on the Michael Jackson album. But yeah, actually I was fortunate because I only did sessions for about 10 years, constantly every day.
Yeah.
But the catalog that I was able to
Oh man,
be on was
you
incredible.
were the go-to guy, you know,
Yeah.
for some of the greatest music ever made, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's just amazing, some of those songs, and they all stand up today.
Yeah. It was a
Crusaders,
great-
all
great
that
era.
stuff. And did you do other stuff with Quincy too,
I did a few things with Quincy, but like I say, I had quit doing dates. One of the first sessions I ever did was for Quincy in 1969. He was doing that TV show Fat Albert.
or? Yeah, I remember.
Somehow my name got on the list as a sub for whoever couldn't make it that day. And so, yeah, I had a big time start. Jump into session with Quincy Jones
Yeah,
and the guys, you know.
right in the fire.
In the fire. Yeah, so it's been an amazing career. Long time.
Well, I mean, it's such an honor to have you in here, and you definitely are right up there with the greatest
Thank
of
you.
all players. And, you know, I mean, I can't say enough. I
Thank
mean, I'm
you.
honored, and I'd like to thank you again, my
Of
brother.
course. And good luck with the All Guitar Network.
Thank you so much.
There you
That's
go.
where you want to go if you're into guitars, and if you are a guitar enthusiast or a guitar demento or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
That's what we are here. The All Guitar Network. If you're not well and all you can think about is guitars, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you got to put something on to look at some guitars, guitarists, whatever, that's where you're going to go. And then you might get locked up. But if you're locked up, if you can get a computer in there, you can watch the All Guitar Network there too.
That's great.
All right, brother. Play a little bit more for us. Too much. The great Larry Carlton right here at Norm's Record.
Nice to see you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, guys.